Hi, I'm Nikki and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a bodice block that you can then use to make a bustier pattern that fits your exact measurements. I actually use this exact pattern to make my red dress for my friend's Halloween wedding, and you guys seem to love it on Instagram, so I hope you keep watching and I hope you enjoy. Here are the supplies that you'll need. Tracing paper. I recommend doing this over your cutting mat to make sure that the lines are straight. A curved ruler or one of the following. The downloadable curved rulers I've linked in the description, a large pot that you can trace, and my personal favorite, a snuggled up wild animal that doesn't mind being traced. Also, the willingness to press pause throughout this video to follow every step, and a pencil and maybe a highlighter. And finally, a measuring tape. We're going to start by taking some measurements. Neck width, shoulder to chest, shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to half length, nipple to nipple, and waist length. I'll be using some pattern making paper that has marks each an inch apart so you can follow along easily. Measure your shoulder width and torso length. Use the larger measurement to create a square. My square is 16 by 16 inches. Divide your square in half. Now draw your chest line, bust line, under bust line, and half length across the entirety of your square. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'll be starting in pencil and highlighting everything important so that it's easier to see on your screen. Divide your shoulder length measurement by 2 and mark that point along the top left of your bodice block. This will be your back bodice. Now draw a vertical line down to your chest line. Use a curved ruler to connect your shoulder point to the edge of your chest line, making an armhole. Use your vertical line as a guide. Divide your neck width by 2, mark it along the top of the bodice block. Go down by 1 inch and draw a horizontal line. Use a curved ruler to create your neckline within the rectangle you've just created. Divide your waist length by 2. Mark your half waist measurement along the bottom of the bodice block. Connect the point you've just drawn to your chest line. Use a curved ruler to connect your waist point to your chest line using that vertical line that you drew as a guide. Now divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2 to get your bust point. Mark your bust point along your bust line. Go up by 1 inch and draw a line down to the bottom of your block. Measure a half inch on each side of this line and connect the points to the top of the line to create a dart. There you have your back bodice block. This one, of course, does not have shoulder darts, but that's a separate video. Now onto the front bodice block. This is going to be very similar to the back bodice block with a few key differences. Mark your half shoulder length along the top of the right bodice block. I recommend mirroring your back bodice. Use this point to draw a vertical line down to your chest line. Then use a curved ruler to connect your shoulder point to your chest line. This curve should be much more exaggerated as it's the front of the armhole. I recommend having about an inch gap between the vertical line and your curve line. Now divide your neck width by 2. Mark it along the top of the bodice block. This time go down by 3 inches and draw a horizontal line. Use a curved ruler to draw your neckline within the rectangle you've created. Mark your half waist length measurement along the bottom of the bodice block. Draw a vertical line to your chest line. Use a curved ruler to connect your waist point to your chest line. Mark your bust point using the measurements from your back bodice. This time, go down by 1 inch and draw a line down to the bottom of your bodice block. I initially filmed myself doing this drunk because I thought it would be a funny way to show you how easy it is, but I enjoy being employed, so sorry. Measure a half inch on each side of this line and connect the points to the top of the line to create your front dart. And now you have your front bodice block. On to the bustier. To start, you'll need to calculate the distance between your bust point and your under bust point. That measurement is your bust radius. If you're on the bustier side, add an inch to this measurement. Mark your bust radius on the top, bottom, left, and right of your bust point and do your best to trace a circle. Remember the line we drew down from the bust point? Since you've already marked your radius along this line, we can use it to create the cup outline. Mark a half inch on each side of this line along the top and bottom of the radius point. Use your curved ruler to draw a line connecting the half-inch points to the bust point. When you're done, it should look like you've drawn 2 parentheses. Mark a half inch along your chest line. If you're bustier, you can mark 3/4 of an inch. Now use your curved ruler to connect the bottom of your radius point to that half-inch mark along your chest line. After doing the same thing on the other side, use your curved ruler to connect the half-inch point along the chest line to the armhole. You can stop here if you'd like a 2-piece cup pattern. If you'd like a 3-piece cup pattern, go down by 1 inch and draw a line parallel to the top of the cup. You could go down by even further, but this is really all about your personal preference. Okay, future Nikki here, realizing that I didn't really show a great clip of the way that I connected the top of the cup to the armhole. So here's a better clip showing how I did it. We're almost done, so I'm going to highlight the pieces that we'll be cutting out. Finally, it's time to complete the back of the bodice, and this is all up to personal preference. I just like to draw a line about 1 inch under the chest line to create a curve. Now we're not done yet, but let's cut out the back bodice pieces. Now we're going to cut out the top portion of the front bodice, meaning we're going to remove everything above the cup, as well as the excess on the side of the bodice and below it. Now we need to adjust the dart along the bottom of the front bodice. All you need to do is invert the dart lines to create a diamond shape, and voila! Okay, the next thing I'm about to say is super important, so pay attention. If you were to remove the lines on the bottom of the cup and the lines that form the top portion of the cup, you could make a princess lined bodice by using this method. The last thing you need to do is cut out all these pieces and then add a seam allowance. Overall, I think this method is super easy once you get the hang of it, and it's such a good way to understand how patterns are constructed and a really great way for you to learn how to draft your own patterns. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my future videos.